Good morning and welcome. Welcome to Fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace. It's my morning time slot from live stream. It's 8 o'clock on Saturday, September 6th, 2025. This has been 23 months that I've been doing this live stream since October of 2023. Wow, that seems like a long time ago. A long time ago. Wow. Uh, I'm glad you found me. Every Saturday and Sunday, I'm on at 8. And on the weekdays, I'm on at 10. That's 10 a.m. And in the evening, I'm on at 7 p.m. And that's every night of the week. So that's 7 shows at 7 and 7 shows at either 10 in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning, depending if it's Saturday or weekdays. Times are given to you are in the Pacific Standard Time Zone. That's on the west coast of California, where this live stream is being broadcast from Surf City, USA, 3 blocks from the ocean. And I'm glad that you found this live stream because we're here to talk about CPS. What I call CPS is the Child Protection System. It's a government entity that was mandated by Congress to social services in 1962 to put a group of social workers together to protect our children from neglect and abuse, and also do what's called family reunification. They need to break up the family. Now, I want to emphasize, what their goals or purpose are, but they're not necessarily doing that. That's the hard part. 50% of the systems, the child protection systems out there, the CPS systems, are corrupt or gone rogue. What I mean by that, they're not really um, representing families correctly, I should say. They're abusing families. And of the 2,000 and 2,600 people that I've spoken to, or the 2,600 people, from not only from the United States, all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., but also from uh, 22 other countries, with the United States is 23. And the sad part, or the hard part is to deal with an entity that is not doing what's called family reunification. If they need to break the family apart, they need to do family reunification. That is one of the goals that was mandated by Congress, because studies have shown that the best parents are the biological parents for raising children, the biological parents. So if there's something wrong with the family unit or the parent, there are classes and, excuse me, I dropped something. There are classes and programs that can help the parents improve or correct the behavior that has been detrimental to the child. Child abuse has been going on for a long time. In fact, they had animal organizations protecting animals long before they had children organizations. Now we have over 200 years in the United States of child abuse and cases. It's a long history. It's divided into 3 parts, from the 1600s to 1875, and then from 1875 to 1962, and 1962 to the present. It wasn't really to 74 that they had any rules. um, or any laws, and they've added some since then and strengthened and protected children. Children are needed to be protected, no question about that. Because 1,000 children every day gets unreported. That's how bad the abuse of children is. But the sad part about it is the agency that's entrusted to protect our children, to talk to our children, has become bad. There's no question about that. Now, I'm here for the purpose of helping you all because I care about families. I care about, you know, mothers and fathers and children. And I've had a good understanding these last 23 months, almost 2 years. Next month, it'll be 2 years. I can't believe we're already into September. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. But I'm here to help you with your case. Now, there's several ways we can participate in this live stream. You can text a message. All you have to do is make a question or a comment about CPS. Now, let me tell you about CPS, what I call the Child Protection System. Its purpose is to protect our children from neglect and abuse, but it's also to do what's called family reunification. If they find it's necessary, the children are in danger, they will remove your child. But it seems like lately they remove it whether they're in danger or not in danger. 50% of them do that. And that's wrong. That's wrong. A child and a mother and father need stability. Removing the child from a home is really a traumatic effect, and it should only be if the child is in dire danger. Now, in my case, my three children removed and they weren't in danger. They're in school. They're wrongly abducted by the Child Protection System in Orange County, California. And that is one of the agencies, one of the thousands of agencies that's gone corrupted. You see, every county has social services. And within social services, the child protection system. There's also adult protective services, which doesn't get talked enough about. I do talk about adult protective services. It's important that when children are over the age of 18 or older and they have special needs, they be protected. And that's where adult protective services come to place. Also, our seniors and people that are of our elders, you know, they need protection too because they are mistreated in adult protective services just like our children are and our mothers and fathers are. You see, it's sad because there's enough corruption going on that even in the uh, healthcare providers, the assisted living or the home for elderly people. There's abuse that goes on all the time. There's abuse that goes on all the time. It's sickening. And on this show, I've had about 4 or 5 adult protective cases. And of course, I've had over 2,000, 2,555 or 595 cases of child protection system. It's 2,600 total with both of them. And I had a horrible experience. I had lost my job through no fault of my own. And then CPS duped in because why? When allegations are reported by either lay people or professionals, and professionals are your doctors and your nurses, your school teachers, administrators, your caregivers, your police, your fire. Those people work with children professionally. They're required by law to report if they notice any harm to the children in neglect or abuse. Now, abuse can be either physical or sexual abuse. Neglect is either lack of starvation with the children, um, maybe to wearing proper clothing, proper supervising, and so forth. And lay people have a tendency to only get it right 25% of the time. 75% of the time, lay people get it wrong. But the professionals, reporters, get it right only 50% of the time and 50% wrong. So that's sad to know that CPS is that corrupt. There's 2,600 people that I've spoken to that should not have lost their child. There's terrible things that take place, like termination of parental rights and adoption and trafficking. There's also medical trafficking, as well as trafficking into foster homes. There's an incentive that was passed a while ago in 1997 that mandated that CPS get rewarded $35,000 bonus for every child they get adopted into foster care. They thought family reunification took too long. Now, I've had that banner posted up there for you to see. All I ask you is follow the format. State your first name, your city or county, your state, and if you're outside of the United States, your country. Also, tell me about your cases the first time. I don't know you. Be nice to hear about your case and help you. I do want to help you very much. Now, besides texting a message, you can also be a guest on my live stream. I can take up to 9 of you. All you have to do is email my show producer, Grace at vincentwdavis.com. And you just give them the time. Times are easy. You just say I want to be in Bob's Sunday morning show or Bob's Saturday night show or Friday morning show or Thursday night show. Whatever day of the week, you just mention it. And then it's either morning or evening. Now, on occasion, my evening show or my daytime show will change as far as time goes. But anyway, you just pick one of those 14 times, tell Grace, and she'll give you a link to what is called StreamYard, which is the software application I use that uses YouTube to transmit my live stream. And you just copy and paste in your browser. If you get knocked off, just copy and paste it again. It's good for the whole show. Now I can take up 9 of you. In the live stream. and you can talk about your case or help one another. A lot of you come to this room regulars. My regulars, there's about 30 to 50 regulars that help me all the time. They're in here, whether it's Dorothy Cook or Christina Reynoso or Cruella, um, or even Leica from South Africa. You see, we do have people that call in from around the world. And those countries, by the way, um, are Indonesia, Bangladesh, and India. Then in the Middle East, it's Saudi Arabia and Libya. Then over to the continent of Africa, there is Liberia, Sudan, Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Mozambique, and then the province of South Africa. Then up to Europe, we have the United Kingdom of England, Scotland, and Wales. And then we have Denmark and Sweden. Then across the pond to North America, we have Canada and its provinces, United States and all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. Then south of the border, we have Mexico. Then further south in South America, north of Brazil on the east coast is Grenada. Then we go across the South Pacific. We have New Zealand, and then the land down under Australia and its states. So that's total of 23 countries. It's a lot of people. And sad to say that most of the people coming here really should not have had their families taken apart. You know, that's one thing. It's okay to have a plan. They have what's called a reunification plan where they tell you about what parenting classes to take, what programs to be involved in, drug testing, and etc. You know, smoking and drugs do not go hand in hand with raising children or having children. It's a sacrifice that you got to make to be a father and mother, that you abstain from drugs. And alcohol is a drug, by the way, and also smoking. Those are very detrimental, especially in the developing stage of the child. And I think a lot of you dads out there should maybe refrain from drinking to help support your wife because she would like to drink too. So I know that. And doing drugs is definitely a difference there. Uh, Oh, forgot to put my phone number up. um, you can call in too. My phone number is so my number is 626-698-0990. And that number you can call in during my live stream and you can talk about your case or ask your questions. I'm here. There's a couple yesterday who's been on my show the last month or two, Claudia and Alfredo Lopez. They have a case where their two boys are being adopted and their girls can be adopted in November. That's the third child. And they wanted help. And so I got them in touch with Vincent Davis, who is my attorney, and he's trying to help them. So it does work. I can help you. I can help you. I've developed 5 rules to go by that I wish I had in place when I had my CPS case because my kids would never have been taken. We need to know our constitutional rights, our civil rights. We need to know about the CPS entity. It's one of those life skills you need to know about. And speaking of life skills, I have one here called legal insurance. A lot of people don't think about it, but we have insurance for life insurance. We have medical insurance and car insurance, pet insurance, household insurance. And so we uh, we should we should think about legal because here's the problem. To deal with CPS is a very costly event, and I know it is firsthand. I lost my forever home to CPS. That's not a fun thing to have happen to you. That's not a fun thing to have happen to you. If the 5 rules that I've come up with, one is you need to have the right kind of attorney fighting for your case. 2, you need documentation of everything that's happening. 3, you got to learn to say no and not talk to social workers or police or let them in your home or let them take your child. You got to be careful about medical trafficking because they're hanging out at the urgent care and also in emergency rooms at hospitals. And they'll try to take your children when they hear what's going on. So be very careful when you show up. Don't let them talk to you. An easy thing to do is you ask them right off the bat if they want to talk to you. You say, "Is this a legal matter?" And if they say yes, then you say, "Okay, I can't talk to you at the moment, but I get an attorney, and then we can talk." And you need to do that because you have to be careful because what you say will be used against you. And also, you let them in your home, they're going to inspect it. All they do is look around, they'll find things wrong. And if you allow them to take your child, you're not going to get your children back. You see, the police work with CPS as protection of the social workers, but they're very intimidating, and social workers use them to enforce their CPS policies, which is a big mistake because the police are not there to enforce the policies of CPS. They're not there, and they go overstep the bounds. Another form of medical trafficking, besides when you're checking at your child, at urgent care or the emergency room, is childbirth, having a baby. Having a baby is a place where they'll come in and try to take your baby away. You got to make sure you prearrange the room, the birthing room, and you make a list of who can come in there. Now, my number's been up there, so I would really look for another number. So, now I have another number there. That's the law office of Vincent W. Davis. It's 888-888-6582. Please call that number if you want to speak to him, or if you want a book or some important information about how to fight CPS, you can call in there. There's also a schedule of our live streams, so you can figure out who's going to be on. The reception will answer your call, and it's very important you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And it's 888-888-6582. That's the law offices of Vincent W. Davis. Now, he can be also talked to too. Make sure if you talk to Mr. Davis, you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. Anyway, today is Saturday. I hope to hear from Claudia and Alfredo how their case is going with Mr. Davis because they have a very important day Monday because they got to deal with adoption. When you go to court, stressful about things. Also, you'll find out that the court appointed attorneys or public defenders that CPS hopes you use will not really defend you. They'll mislead you and they're not really there for your best interests of the family. That's why you need to get a real attorney. That's why you need insurance, legal insurance. And you need to find somebody like Vincent Davis that can help you. Now, his typical retainer in LA County is approximately $5,000. He's approximately $500 an hour attorney. But every case is different, and it all depends on the complexity of the case and how long it's been going on. We determine the cost. And it's a lot of money to sacrifice for your family, but you have to think the line is what's important, your children or money part? And for me, it was no questions, answers, my children. So I quick sell my forever home that took me 45 years to get. Hopefully someday I'll get my forever home again. I hope so. I hope so. Hello, Bartley. Guy, it's so good to hear from you again. You're a sweet person to keep calling in and being supportive. Bartley is from Montana, and she has a horrible case where she had a criminal case where they busted her door down and attacked her and arrested her. And she wasn't doing anything. They just overzealous. People are so weird. They are so weird in CPS. And I hate to say it, the police have been weird too. There's too many people get shot at and killed at, so you gotta be careful. Well, Bartley, is there any question that you can answer that I can answer for you or talk about? Good morning. You've reached Bob Pace with the live stream. Who do I have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, Bob. This is Berkeley in Montana.
Oh, hello there, and good morning. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you. Good to hear yours too.
Yeah, I'm glad
I
to.
did try to write something, but I spoke it, and it didn't even come out right.
Oh no.
Right now.
Oh, you never
I
find
was
anything.
trying to.
A mother treatment plant. What is a mother treatment plant?
Okay, that's what I was supposed to say. I never signed anything out of court or in court with the CPS case or any of it, and all I ever got from them was a document they wanted me to sign, which never happened, called Mother's Treatment Plan. So yesterday I decided, after listening to your show with the other people, I decided to send an email to the attorney asking for a reunification hearing.
Yeah.
Because I've never received paperwork that says that.
Okay.
And, Kelly doing what he's doing behind my back. No, I want a reunification hearing, right? I mean, did I do the right thing? Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. So we'll wait and see what happens when she decides to call me about that. Maybe Monday. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was your family obligation yesterday? Was it lovely?
Yeah, it did turn out pretty good. It went a long time, so I'm glad I was able to do that. So that was good.
Oh, I'm happy for you. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that was really important for me to do that. And I'm glad that everybody called in early and was able to accommodate the change. So, having this live stream on twice a day is very beneficial because if something comes up, you always got one or the other to talk about. And so being on 7 days a week, it helps out people with their days and quarter questions came up. Like Claudia and Alfredo Lopez out of San Bernardino, California. I got them in touch with Vincent Davis, and they hired him and going to put the money down and the balance in 2 weeks. And they're going to try to stop their adoption of their two girls on Monday, excuse me, two boys on Monday, and their daughter in November. So maybe that will work. So,
Yeah, I was listening to their story yesterday, and you telling them that, and I found interesting for my case with when my daughter was doing her thing. I found out later on that her older sister, adopted her. But you had said yesterday on the show to them that they have to notify the parents about the adoption. I
yes.
never got that.
Well,
Nobody sent me nothing.
you're supposed to be. The problem, what I think it is that they're going through the Kelly, your partner, or whatever you want to call him,
Well,
because
now, but I meant with my son, they are. But I meant when my daughter was doing her stuff when Obama was
oh,
in office. And,
okay,
yeah, with that CPS case, it was just interesting to hear you say that to them. Well, they have to notify you, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, gosh, they didn't do that to me. Like it's just so weird how they. Well, it's not weird. They're corrupt and how they're sneaky and all that stuff.
right, right, right.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they're getting the help. I really am. I'm grateful that everybody who comes on here with their stories, my heart goes out to each and every one of them because that's what it's about. Yeah, they ripping our hearts away, our children. Those are our hearts. Our hearts.
Well, it's a hard subject matter to be involved in, because it is family, and family has such a wide spectrum. It involves not only the immediate, but it involves the cousins and uncles, grandparents, and things like that. And it affects everybody emotionally because, for some strange reason, that these so called professionals, at least 50% of them, are not listening or not caring about the family. And when an email goes unanswered, they don't send out the paperwork or leave you in the dark. It's a traumatic experience. When you're misled by following a court appointed attorney or a public defender, again, you're misled. And promises they try to trick you to make that they don't deliver, again, you're misled. It's a it's terrible what you're going through.
And it seems like with the CPS worker, not the CPS worker, the CPS attorney, anything I tell her, and I reassure her, hey, I'm by all means not trying to do your job. What I'm trying to do, ma'am, is help myself so I can help you to fight my case. But
Right.
yet, she don't want to hear it.
Wow.
And that's terrible. And then when I tell her something that I know is an actual fact, she'll lie and go, no, you can't do that, or we can't do that. And no. And I'm sitting there going, if you knew what I've been doing since January 25th on your platform and what I've learned and educated, because knowledge is power.
Yeah.
then take one to the clerk's office and make sure the judge gets it too, or what?
Well, serving documentation is important to everybody, and sometimes I make more copies. Like yesterday, I was dealing with a civil matter, and I was asking the clerk there at the window how many copies they need. Well, he says you need one to serve to the party, one for yourself, and one for the court. So that's 3 copies. If there's more people involved, I have 4 copies. Well, I need to notify the traffic citation department or the parking citation department. This is about a parking ticket. It's really
Okay.
stupid that I have to do this, but I did that. And I've already made 3 trips to the courthouse. The first time was at the wrong courthouse. I didn't know that parking tickets is a civil matter. And so I thought the form they sent me I could use. They said, no, you got to use the self help form. So you need to go to the self help form, fill out the forms, then go to the window form. It takes an hour and a half waiting to talk to someone at the window. And, this
Oh
is,
Lord.
I spent $8 on parking. It's $1 every 15 minutes at the parking lot, which I think is ludicrous. I think it's highway robbery. And on top of
Those
that,
meters outside, you mean where you park?
well, the problem being is that I have a van that has a clearance, needs at least 90 feet, 9 feet clearance. So it
Okay.
can't park in parking structures. And in the
Oh,
neighborhood, it's terrible trying to find a parking spot. And the neighborhood is run down as usual. It's Santa Ana. It's not one of the most pleasant places. You feel like you're in Tijuana, Mexico when you're in Santa Ana. So
yeah.
it's uh, it's not safe. So they have a big parking lot, but in order to pay the parking lot, you got to pay $1 for every 50 minutes. That's $4 an hour. So 2 hours is $8.
Right.
And so you got that fee. Then the clerk says there's a $25 fee, but you can waive that if you're low income. So there's a $20 fee per each traffic. I'm doing 3 traffic appeals before a judge. Now my appeals were for I first started with a written appeal, then a hearing before a hearing officer appeal, and now I'm going before the judge. They don't want to help you.
Okay.
They don't want to help you. That's the problem that I find out. It's a lack of ignorance. It isn't a cheerful place, the court systems are fight a case. It's terrible no matter if it's small claims, civil, if it's criminal, if it's child protection or adult services. You know, there's an area that I keep forgetting about besides child protection is adult protection services. There's child protection
Yeah.
services and adult protection services. And adult protection services is just as bad as child protection services. And they just don't want to help out people. And it seems like the thing that most people have in common um, are um, um, lost my train of thought. Most people that have in common, it is the family. Um, I don't know if that
That
helps you.
happens to me when I'm talking. I'll get in the middle and then my my mind will just go blank. Kind of like you lose train of thought, like you said.
Yeah, yeah. I I
Now
agree.
out here in Sanders County, Montana, since it's a rural area, they don't have them parking meters. You can park anywhere and it's free. But I know what you're talking about um, in California like that because I was born and raised in Southern California.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my grandmother lived in Arcadia, and I grew up in in what they call now Santa Clarita Valley.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but then it was called Newhall, Valencia, Saugus, and Canyon Country over by Magic Mountain.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I was born in Granada Hills.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then my dad saved me and got me out of California, praise the Lord, and got me up here so I could be safe.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to be there for nothing. I feel it. When I went down there, took my daughters on like a vacation. We went in 2018. It took us all, and it was weird because when we would go in the grocery stores, there only was each aisle packed with people, but the lines to check out were long. And then when it was my turn, since I hadn't been there for years, they would charge for the grocery bags.
Oh yeah.
The plastic ones. And I
Yeah.
was like, whoa, how do people make it out here?
It's 10 cents a bag.
That's ridiculous. I can't believe that.
All
See,
right.
they don't do that in Montana. Montana has no state tax, you know. So no tax on anything, which I like.
Well, there's a trade-off, you know. People that like, if you like the ocean, it's kind of hard to live in Montana with the Pacific Ocean there.
True, yeah.
So, you know that if you like nothing but hot desert, well, California's got that. They got snow, they got desert, they got beaches. It is the number one place that people want to live. It's also the most expensive.
Right. In the desert now, it's the most expensive.
Even in the desert now, I mean, in California in general,
Okay.
it's the most expensive place to live. It really is not a cheap place to live. I mean, if you want to live in affordable places, try Mississippi or West Virginia or Kansas or Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, Idaho, Montana. Uh,
Yeah. I did
those
grow
are,
up one time in part of Palmdale in the Lancaster area.
yeah.
Yeah, and then when I was a real young kid, my mother and I, and her boyfriend, we lived in Lake LA, which is even farther out.
Wow. I don't even know where Lake LA is. Never heard of that.
It's past Palmdale. I mean, you gotta get to like 161st Street. You know, it starts out Avenue A first, and they're all numbers and letters.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I brought up the reunification thing is because I got to thinking, when I told you that they want to do the FCR meeting. I forgot what it stands for, foster care or something. Well, when this happened before, I thought I always got a hearing that was on a document that said reunification plan. And maybe there could have been a mother's treatment plan attached with it. I don't remember. But I don't hear the word reunification on nothing. And then when I talked to the attorney, told her, she says October 7th is our day because they don't do 388, so she filed whatever we could for that. And the date's October 7th. And on it said the date, the time of the hearing, and then it says for abuse and neglect. So I'm telling the public defender, I go, now, why is it saying abuse and neglect? Because there was no abuse or neglect. She proceeds to tell me this, Bob. I know there was no abuse or neglect. That is just what they write on it, and it doesn't mean anything. And I go, well, if it doesn't mean anything, then why does it say that? Take it out of there. Because obviously it means that because that's what's written on the document.
Right.
I mean, right? Doesn't that make logical sense? That's what I thought. So I did. I emailed her. I'm not going to hear back from her today, but I said I'd like a reunification hearing because if that's not what's happening here, then we got a real big problem.
Well,
because,
I
want my son back.
I sometimes tell people you need to make a timeline. You know what a timeline is?
Where we write it all down.
Where you write down the events and you put down when they happen. And the thing that I would do if I was in your case is I'd put down what are the steps in a CP case in Montana. I would do Montana, the city in Montana, and then you have Montana, and then I would capitalize CPS, and then I'd put down the timeline of events. And that way it'll tell you them, and then you can either draw it on a piece of paper and you make like a flow chart and say, well, here's this event, here's that event. Did this happen? Did that happen? There's initial intake that takes place in the start of a CPS event. It's for people have a report that comes in either from a layperson or a professional person. That reporter gives the information over the phone to the CPS person receiving the information. The only problem is that once that you don't know whether the information is correct or wrong, because so many lay people lie that only 25% of the information you get is right. But even the professional people screw up and lie too. And only 50% of the information is considered to be viable. So you have a really bad system that has gone rogue or gone bad because it should be a step by step. Because after the report, then an investigation must happen within 24 hours. And after they investigate, the investigation could be talking to neighbors and friends and relatives, and they'll do all kinds of scrupulous things. They want to come to your house, they want to inspect your house, they want to right away take away your child, even though the child's not in danger. That's wrong what they're doing. And then they'll try to steer you in different directions and confuse you. That's why I say it's like Alice in Wonderland. You like falling in the rabbit hole and you met the Chester cat that sends you one room where nothing happens, another room where something does happen, whatever. You're completely lost. Fighting CPS is like doing open heart surgery. You need a professional to lead you on. You can't do it yourself. And so many people have to because of the money situation of hiring an attorney because they didn't get legal insurance. That's something I wish people would do more often is look into legal insurance. It's available and it's affordable. And it's just like your
A question,
medical.
excuse me,
Go ahead.
about the legal insurance. I just wanted to interrupt and ask something before we go further.
Yeah.
Now, you say you recommend that. Now, for somebody that already has a case, like most people do that call in, is it too late for us to apply for the legal insurance?
I don't know.
It's already started? Or?
I don't know. That's something I have to
Okay,
check out. I really don't. I mean,
okay,
I just been now look at the early stages of legal insurance because when I type it up there,
okay.
there are two types of legal insurance. There's one type that will cover everything from A through Z with the big retainers. There's also the self assistance legal insurance like Legal Shield or Zoom. I think it's another one or whatever, not Zoom, but there's these things where they help you do a will. Let's say you want to do a will. Those kinds of assistance programs are as you pay as you go and they're affordable. But then there's the legal insurance, which has to pay for your $50,000 retainer or $100,000 retainer. Let's say you got a DUI and you need to definitely have an attorney in a DUI. Otherwise, your driver's license will be suspended. You won't be able to drive to work. You have to take a bus to work. It'd be terrible. So we need to look into that legal insurance, both types.
Okay, I wrote that down.
I mean, I know
Okay.
that is hard.
It is hard. What's hard about all this too is like when like we said before, when people we think that care about us or maybe love us, and then they betray us and turn to their side, and then some people like me, because therefore I'm a single mother, and therefore I feel all alone. And so it does make it hard, and having your platform to be able to talk to you and other people that reach out, and then hearing their stories and trying to reach out to help them and pray for everybody, that's what I think gets us all through this. So I'm saying that to you because I hope and I pray for you that I know you're tired of reliving it twice a day, but it's really wonderful what you're doing for all of us. And I think it's great, and I appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much, because the way that I view it is, it's very, very hard to deal with an entity that you know nothing about that is a squandle. I mean, if it was an entity that really helped out parents, really believed in what they preach, and really helped with family reunification, then that'd be one thing. But we have an agency that's gone rogue. And of the 2,600 people I've talked to from around the world, not only in the United States, around the world, they have everything it has in common where they've taken their child when they didn't need to take their child. They made false allegations, or they receive false allegations and they believe it until you're proven innocent. It's the only court of law that you're guilty until you're proven innocent. Every other court should be you're proven innocent. Also, there should be a jury trial. If it has to go to trial, then a group of your peers should decide whether you're guilty or not guilty, not a judge, because that's all there is. A judge is the one that makes the decision. Well, CPS, you have to ask for it. In Texas, they allow jury trials. We have to change the rules. We have to change the laws. And, every other criminal matter, you get what's called a jury trial. It's the jurish. It's your peers. There's 12 members that make up a jury. Well, they should be for a CPS case. It should be.
Okay. Good. Okay.
It should be. I mean, the problem is that I've been finding out, like in California, they don't do that, which I think is wrong. I don't know if I ever got a case again because I don't have any young children now. My children are all grown up now. Whether or not you can ask in the beginning when your case first starts out that you want a jury trial. You do not want a judge, one man, making a decision on your life that's going to affect you forever and ever.
I have a quick question too. Pops in my brain is I found out who started all this, and what I'm hearing is that we have the right to have this person to confront them in the court house, because what she wrote, she was a LEAP person that's where they help with heating and stuff out here, and she came over here, and I knew her from a church I went to previously. And what she wrote in the report, it doesn't say abuse or neglect. She wrote, because she said she's a mandated reporter, I found out, and she said she was concerned about the mother and the son because it was cold in the house. It was cold in the house, but not in my son's room because we had the heater plugged in there, and we were in there,
Right.
I couldn't heat the whole house at the time. It would have cost me probably $800 a month to do that. But do I have the right to do that then? I mean, that's what I'm hearing. Because I don't want to cause problems for that lady. I just want her to, why couldn't she, and she doesn't even help with the eating assistance. And it's just like how Kelly's getting the money in here. I'm finding out I'm approved for this program out here called weatherization, where they come and check your windows, your doors, and they'll do all this for free. And if you have an open case, that the social worker can supposedly bump you to the top of the list. But somebody was talking the other day on your show saying how they'll give money to the other people, but here they don't help the actual family. And it's supposed to be about reunification.
Right.
And there you go. That doesn't make sense either, It's just, the whole thing's messed up.
Right.
Make it right.
Right. Right. Right.
Instead of
Right.
just
Right.
laughing to make light of the situation. I know.
Well, I just looked at my clock here, you guys, and it's now 9 o'clock. So I'm got to end my live stream. But I do thank you for calling in. You made this live stream better because it's based on people calling and talking and texting messages and asking questions than me being here a storyteller and talking the whole time. So I'm glad you called in, Bartley. So I'll be on again, you guys. I'm going to be on at 7 o'clock tonight. That's Pacific Standard Time. And I'll continue with this discussion about your CPS case and how I can help you with what I've learned from others and so forth. I want to thank Bartley for calling in from Montana. And
I think I sent you a heart.
Oh, thank you. So, well, I haven't seen it yet, but it's okay.
Okay.
But I want to thank Bartley, who's a very sweet mom who's going to get her son back. And she unfortunately met a man that turned to be sour. And that's always the case. Relationships seem to go sour. So, anyway, I'll be on again tonight at 7. I want all of you out there to not give up on getting your child. Come here first. Listen to what I have to say. Ask me how I can help you. I'm here twice a day, 7 days a week. So, with that being said, there'll be a short video for you to listen, but I do got to go, and I'll see you again at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is Bob and Bartley signing off. Thank you.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last ones left. Put your faith in this. We are the